Before we get into the video, I just want to mention that I have a Twitter and Instagram and a Twitch, so go and follow them because I stream quite a lot, and I also am active on Instagram and Twitter. Enjoy the video. Right, so the first effect that I want to talk about is BCC lens blur. You basically want to use this effect as a sort of something that you could put on the kill. You can use it as a transition. It works really well as a transition too, but I like to just show it on the kill quick. And actually, I'll show a transition as well. But BCC lens blur, there's fast lens blur and lens blur OBS. I don't know what the difference is, but I just use the OBS one. So you just want to drag it onto the clip, and then you just want to find where you get the kill. You actually want to lower the iris scale to 0 first, so you can actually see your clip. So let's go to where we get the kill. Remember, as I say in every video, arrow keys go left and right by frame. You find where the ammo drops from 1 to 0 or whatever yours is. Go on but just before the ammo drops, come over to the left and press a keyframe on iris scale, and then leave it on 0. And then go 1 frame ahead, and then keyframe it to 10. And then go a little bit further, not towards the end of the clip, like halfway maybe to the end, and then put that back to 0 again. But that's not all we're going to do. We're also going to go to the quality up here and change it from fast to sharper, and we're going to increase the gamma to 500. What this does is it makes it brighter, so you can see like there's a white outline sort of on the kill, if that makes sense. Like on the light of it, there's a white outline. So this would be before. So this is what it looks like normally, and then that's what it looks like when I add the 500. So that's what it looks like normally, and then that's when I put it to 500. I've actually explained this before, but if your clip is lagging a bit when you try and play it back, what you can do is a dynamic render. Just find where you want to start, press I, find when you want to end with the blue pinhead, and then press O, and then press enter, and it will do a dynamic RAM render. What this basically does is it uses some of your RAM to produce a little sort of mini render so you can watch it through in your player without it lagging. But if you change any effects or anything on the clip, then you will not be able to watch it again because it's obviously a little render in your RAM. And after a while, you do lose the render. You're going to have to re-render it after a while because obviously your RAM does run out of space and stuff, and it will just delete it. But this is what it looks like. Yeah, that's it on the kill, and now I'll show it as a transition, so I'll just go and grab another clip quickly, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I've got the two clips next to each other. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a transition. Now, the way that I like to do this is I like to go to the Assembly tab, and I like to make an adjustment layer by coming down here and pressing on this little page, and then clicking on Adjustment Layer, clicking OK, and then coming over to this black square over here that says Adjustment Layer under it, and just dragging it onto the clip. And then what you want to do is you want to zoom in a bit by holding Alt and then scrolling up. And then go in between the clips and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames before, or maybe 15, so 5 more. If you're on 60 FPS. If you're doing a 30 FPS video, then you're going to want to half what I just said. But I'm on 60 FPS, so I'm going to go 15 before and 15 afterwards. So yeah, if you're on 30 FPS, you want to do half, so 7 or 8. Either one's probably fine. I'd go for 8 if I were you. And then you just want to come over to the Effects tab. And then you just want to search Lens Blur. And grab BCC Lens Blur OBS. Drag it onto the clip. And then go over to Effect Controls on the left. And you just want to keyframe it. So where it says Iris Scale, you want to go to the very center of the clip and keyframe that on 15. And then go to the start of the clip, put it to 0. And then the end of the clip and put it to 0. And then I like to increase the gamma to about 400. And change the quality to sharper. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to smooth the keyframe. So to smooth the keyframe, what you want to do is you want to grab the two side keyframes, right click and press continuous Bezier. Then you want to come over to the left to this little arrow, drop it down. And then you just want to leave this as it is. So as you see, it's going up slowly and then comes down. It's sort of like a bit smooth. You can also do this a little bit. I think it looks a little bit better if you drag the little pinhead things. So I'll zoom in a bit more. You might want to move this so you can drag it in a bit. Then put it back to the start, and it sort of slows and then ramps up and then slows down again. So I'll show you what it looks like. So there you go, that's it as a transition. It's nice and clean, not too noticeable, nice and clean, a little bit quite easy to use as well. So yeah, that's that as a transition. That was the first effect, and now onto the second BCC effect. Okay, so the second BCC effect that I want to talk about is BCC Hue Sat Lightness. Now this works roughly the same as the default Lumetri color effect, But the main thing that you really use this for is it's just sort of like a little bit more compact. So you have the hue, the saturation, the lightness all in one place. You don't have to sort of like mess around with the lumetri color. You have all of this in one spot, and it's just really easy to use, really simple. You can obviously do an exposure pump with it. You can do a build up with it by lowering the lightness. You can increase the saturation, lower the saturation as a build up. And you can obviously change the hue on the kill if you really want to. So I'll show you how to do all three of these things real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the saturation and lightness go down before the kill. And then on the kill, it's all going to pop, and I'm going to have the hue change. That sounds a little bit confusing, but I'll do it, and then you'll see what it looks like, and it'll all be good. All right. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to start doing is lowering the saturation and the lightness. So to do that, you just want to go a little bit before the kill. Find a spot where it feels like the music sort of changes or something. So I'm going to listen to it a second. So there, when you hear the first beat of the two main beats, I'm going to make it start going lower. So just here, I'm going to keyframe the saturation and then keyframe the lightness. And then go over to 1 frame before the kill. Remember, use arrow keys when you get towards the kill. And then when the ammo says 1 instead of 0, I'm going to press 2 keyframes on the saturation and the lightness. Decrease the saturation to about -75. And then decrease the lightness to about -75 as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 more frame across, bring the saturation back to 0, and bring the lightness to about 25. And then I'm going to bring the lightness to about 50. And then I'm going to go a little bit further along, and I'm going to put the lightness back down to 0 again. But don't change the saturation. Now this is what this looks like. So yeah, that's what that looks like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the hue. So to change the hue, what you want to do is you want to go 1 frame before the kill, press on the hue thing where it says 0. And then you just want to come all the way to the end, sort of the end of the clip. Let's go to where we keyframe the saturation and just increase the hue to, I'm going to go for 3 revolutions, but obviously you really have to figure it out for yourself. It obviously depends on the clip, how long the clip is. I'm going to go for this and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that was a little bit too much in my opinion. So I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, make it slightly shorter. A little bit more shorter. Yeah, I actually quite like that. Basically what it does is it changes the hue of all the stuff that you've got there. So there you go. And this is an effect I've seen a few people use actually, where they just sort of do a hue rotation. You really do need to refine it though. This obviously isn't the best it can look. If you tried for a long time, it would look really nice, but this is the best I can do in just like the short time that I have to sort of show you how to use the effect. But you can obviously mess around with it, increase it, decrease it, and all of that. It doesn't look the best right now, but yeah, it's all up to you. And anyway, on to the next effect. The last effect I want to talk about is a little bit different to all the other effects that I usually show. It's called BCC Two Strip Color. It's under film style if you can't find it. Just drag it onto your clip and you'll see it looks quite weird. But then if you come down over to the left on the effect controls and you see all these colors, don't worry about that. But if you increase the mix with original a bit, say put it to 50, you'll notice that it sort of gives it a nice little color correction looking thing. It looks a little bit like you've added a LUT. And it might look familiar because this is roughly what a lot of people use to sort of color correct videos. Well, I say color correct. They sort of just put a filter on. And this is the sort of thing that they would put on. And you can obviously do it to your liking. Let's say we go to 30%. It just sort of gives it like a style over the top of the clip, a sort of color style. And I think it looks quite nice. Obviously, if you mix it properly, you can change the colors and stuff if you want. But yeah, if you're going for like a montage and you want there to be a specific color scheme, I feel like this is a really useful effect to use to sort of put on and make the whole thing look sort of the same and look quite nice. You can obviously change the mix with original. You can change all these colors actually as well. You can, maybe you want this to be yellow. I don't know why you do that, but maybe you do, you know? Who knows? But yeah, you can obviously change this. So subtractive, additive, you know, all of that. And then it will change the color. So additive is this color, which is obviously better. The teal and red color is quite a lot better than that. And then you obviously have all of these. These are terrible. Those are just weird. But yeah, this could be a really interesting effect to use sort of just the whole way through your montage to just sort of keep the theme. But yeah, that is how you use that effect. It's really easy to use, just sort of something that I thought I'd mention at the end. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I have been posted daily. I don't know if I'll keep this up. I don't know if I'll post another video tomorrow. I'm running out of ideas, you know. But I really do hope you enjoyed. I have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a Twitch that I would love it if you could follow. The links will be in the description. Go ahead and have a look at those. And I'll see you in the next one.